we are certainly creating our own AI. It's important to us to make our own embeddings with our data and things like that.
Have you all seen the current CMS guidance on leveraging AI against Medicare member data?
No, that'd be great to look at.
I don't know that you can build your own AI against Medicare data. That's part of what we've been discussing in the industry.
It's good to know what we can and can't do, but we're certainly not trying to use the AI against their private health information.
No, I don't think you can use it against their contact information.
You can't use it against their contact information. Oh, that's interesting. Where is that link? You said this. Now we're doing this
I will
mostly for
get with
ACA
Melissa
right now.
on our side. It was the talk of the summer, let me tell you. As far as, and even our company, our parent company, Integrity, was basically like, anything that you have with AI, stop it until CMS does what we can and can't do. Historically, the guidelines around Medicare CMS data has always been that they've had very tight rules on what you could do with lead data as it pertains to a Medicare member. The difference between regular Medicare data or regular lead data and Medicare member data is that they treat the Medicare lead the same way they treat health information. And they do that because there are certain assumptions that you can make from the sheer fact that someone is Medicare eligible or inquiring about Medicare. So with some sales organizations, you can get the lead in and you can do excellent analytics against that lead because it's just a dummy lead. You can't make any inferences about the person on its face level. Medicare data is not that. And CMS has done a lot as far as regulations around what we can do in the Medicare space. Even when I was in Humana and they were discussing these things, there were things that we could do in the individual segment that we could not do in the Medicare segment for that specific reason, because the lead data is just as protected as their blood pressure and conditions and diagnoses.
Yeah, interesting.
And so just be aware of that. And like I said, I think Melissa's out today.
Yeah, we are building this for
But
ACA
I will send
right
her
now.
a note.
But that's
Say that again?
We are building this for ACA right now, but what you just mentioned is all stuff I need to look at. I haven't seen that. That does make sense. I haven't seen that. We are planning on at least using things like their name, their date of birth, things that they put in the form in the AI conversations. As far as using like their actual health application information, we are moving their health application into our database. So we're going to create personal pages for our clients. And then our goal was to allow them to at least look up information through the AI. So if they say, hey, is my doctor, I need to check on my doctors, you put them through the doctor network search link or the prescription search. I have been very clear, and this is almost for a functionality purpose. I didn't think about through CMS regulation purpose, but I didn't want the bot answering complicated questions. And in fact, that's a perfect point for a human to jump in. So we have a threshold over which the complication gets where it just says, hey, that's a complicated question. You need to speak with a licensed agent. Click right here to schedule a call and let them. So we're already doing that. And I do think what you mentioned is actually really important to the industry. At what level can you use AI automation? Let's differentiate that from actual automation. But what level can you use AI automation versus what level does the human have to jump in? And your regulation point of view is, I was just thinking on a functionality point of view, but you're bringing up regulation point of view, which is obviously very important. So I need to know.
And I'm trying to think, even on the ACA side, when you mention what it is that you're trying to do. So when it comes to data storage, data integrity, data security, even health application information. So the apps that we got in the door on the individual side for Humana, those applications have to be stored in a different caliber of database than our lead on the ACA side. So when we're talking about lead data coming in for the individual segment, you can get that data and you can store it. Basically, database, anybody can code it, use it, AI tools on top of it. They don't really care what you do with that data. Once it becomes an application, that's why you see so many proprietary systems that's collecting the data. And it's because there are strict regulations on where that data can be stored.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I said we have to talk. There's regulations on how you transmit that data, who you transmit that data to, and what you do with it, and what AI you can lay on top of it. So there are certain AIs that can be laid on top of health application information, but I do not think that you can code your own AI. The data layers within AI, the segmentation, and that's because when you code your own AI or when you use open AI for health information, that data goes back into the system and it helps make the overall AI infrastructure stronger. And there are systems out there that are scouring for that data.
Yeah, we're keeping that stuff on our side, and so we are creating. But you are right. I wonder.
I'm not saying that you can't. I think you have to jump through hoops to be allowed to use it. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
we're
keeping it in the same capacity that we would for our agents. But you're right. So when it would be passed to the actual AI function like OpenAI or something like that when we do the embeddings in the prompt, so like at least pieces of it. And
you can't pass it to OpenAI.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. That's exactly what you're saying. So the private health information can't be passed to OpenAI. We need to determine what's private and what's available to talk about. Right?
Exactly, and you need the private information in order to do customized recommendations.
Not necessarily. We can pass back like the type of quote and the county and things like that. And so when they ask things like, hey, can I check if my doctor's in network? You could give them the proper proper carrier network link for that county. This is important.
Yeah,
I feel like we're already going in this direction. Like we're already doing it, I think, in the right way, but for other reasons. But is important to consider this.
Again, not to get on the Salesforce thing, but even if not Salesforce, what you're doing and where you store your data and how you pass your data would still need to hit the threshold of protected PHI. Even if what they see is not PHI, even if what is not PHI, if you're putting it into the rules engine, then everything in your process has to meet that level of security. The thing with a company like Salesforce is that they use Salesforce for medical records and encoding. So they're built on top of a system that has already passed through those guidelines and is available. And then when a company purchases it, they basically put your data in a bubble and it says what you know about the customer can't make Ebony's AI smarter.
Right.
So if you figure it out, you can use it, and it wraps all of your data in bubble wrap and proves to the government that this data can't go anywhere else.
Right.
And it passes that test. OpenAI does not.
Yeah, we're not giving that data to OpenAI. Our database is built in AWS, right? So they've done the same thing. That's part of the service of these big companies is they've gone through the process of being certified and verified for all these different levels of security. So our database is AWS.
That's the data lake, yeah.
We're only passing, so to OpenAI, we're only passing the prompts, and the prompts are going to be engineered through Python with the embeddings that it needs to give the answer back. So what you're saying is this is actually good, because if the AI, they ask questions that the AI doesn't know, we can very easily say our response should be, we need to put you on the phone with a licensed agent. We can very literally say these pieces of data in the database can never be passed back, whereas these can. We need to do something like that.
Not passed back, passed to.
Sure. Yes, ma'am. Correct. You're right. Okay, no, that's good. I like.
Yes.
You're a data person. Very precise. That's good.
I am.
No, that's good. That's right.
Yeah,
it can never go to OpenAI. Yeah. So you're telling me that anything that goes to OpenAI, they're going to take and use to better their system. Okay. No, that's good to know. That's good to.
It goes into the global ecosystem. If you read up on CNN and Time Warner, is it Time Warner's that owns CNN and all that stuff?
I don't know. Yeah.
They own all these news stations, right? And they are livid because they've got all these websites and they push us all this news and they put all these articles out there, right? And OpenAI, I think it's based in Utah, and the city that it's in is running out of water. because the AI scouring machines are running so hot that they're consuming all the water in the town that they stay in. And because they were trying to keep the location secret, but when it ran out of water, the company sued, and now everybody knows where this AI engine is. It's somewhere in Utah.
Uh-huh.
But anywho, it is constantly looking at all the different pieces and places that are trying to use AI, and it's using every bit of data it can find to make its overall system smarter.
Right.
It's literally iRobot on steroids. And once you put your data in there, if someone else goes to chat GBT and is, man, does Ebony Sykes have diabetes? If it has ever found that in your data set, it's going to tell somebody the answer to that question, because it's part of the overall open AI. That's why they call it open AI. Everyone's questions make everyone's answers better versus a proprietary AI, which is going to say only your data helps your system.
Okay, so where do we find the CMS guidance on the Medicare data of what is allowed and what isn't? Do you have I'm looking at ai.cms.gov. There's a lot of different things on here, but it's a little unclear where those limitations are. And this also looks like top level stuff. Like they're not.
That's just it. Congress can't agree on it. They said stop until we can figure it out. That's why it's high level, and we don't think that you should. So they were just like, no, don't do that. And so we sent it to our legal, sent it up the chain. Our legal came back and said, we're using Salesforce. Salesforce is used for medical records. It's used by doctors' offices. It's used by nurses.
Right.
And they have met the threshold. Therefore, if your AI is on this platform, yes.
Okay.
And I think there are, hold on.
No, it's fine. We use a lot of that data to internally segment clients on things that they need. So this person needs to have a conversation
that's everybody's thing. Like, we're just trying to help here.
But we don't have to have the AI do anything from that. We can, and when we talk to them, we don't have to tell them what the situation is. Hey, we need to talk to you about something or whatever. We can be very careful not to talk about that stuff till they actually get on a phone with an agent. But ultimately, our goal with the AI...
Did you say you were using Tableau?
Yeah, but not for private health information. We're using Tableau for targeting files with the ACA. Where are the lowest cost silver policies? What carriers are they? What counties are they in? Things like that's the first thing we use it for. I would love to do what you're talking about, also use it for commissions, but we haven't built that yet. It sounds like you may have that directly connected. Well, that would be great.
I was just going to say, do some research on Tableau. They used to call it ASK data. They have changed the name of it, but it is a AI-driven tool. It's within Tableau, and you already have the license. You could connect it to your data lake, and it should not only let you like query the data in natural language, but it should be secure enough, and you should be able to use web coding to embed it in your sites or your tools or all of those things. So consider using Tableau as a go-between for that too. That may be helpful.
Absolutely. Yeah, we plan on putting an ACI targeting file out for all agents before open enrollment. So we're going to try to give a little back to the community before we ask for something in return. But I do plan on putting that out, and that's just straight data from CMS. That's simple. But yes, no, that's a great tip. I will. It's a good thing we have this recorded. So what would you suggest? Just going to a list of all. Just go over what all PHI means exactly, and saying all this data is stuff that can't be passed, right? That's what you recommend, something like that.
Yes, I would start there, getting very clear definitions. And I do believe HMHS, the Department of Health and Human Services, does have stuff on that.
PHI, HHS. Okay, so I'm on their website now, and they have I'll find it.
Yeah.
And I'll just come back to you and let you know what we're doing.
They started putting out.
Okay.
HMHS is going to be the best reference for ACA regulations, and then CMS is going to be the best for, of course, the Medicare regulations.
Right.
But both of them usually move lockstep. HMHS is what's dictating all of the virtual and telehealth, and it's all out there, right? And some of our conversations with our doctors have ended up on OpenAI because No one said that they couldn't. And so
I
then they were
gotcha.
just like, fine then. Consider this notice that the answer is no for everything until we figure it out. Yeah,
Right.
HMHS will probably be better than CMS.
Tell me this, if something is publicly available from CMS, like quoting data, county
Yeah,
data,
all of
price
that is
data,
publicly available
so
data.
that
We can
stuff we
use
can
that,
use.
share that, publish that. That's fine because it's not connected to any members. They only give us aggregated data.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you so much. This is very good guidance. Thank you so much, Ebony. Max, appreciate your
You're
time.
welcome.
Please let me know if I need to know anything else, and
Yeah.
I will have I'll have my team reach out to you immediately via email, and we'll get that data export started. Thank you so much.
All right.
And
All right.
You're
Mike,
welcome.
What's up, Max?
Oh,
quick-
talk about the data export. There are regulations on what we can and cannot transmit when it comes to member data.
That's right.
Which is why we give your statements through Salesforce.
It's so
because
tricky.
it's member
Yeah,
data,
it's
right?
so tricky.
It's got policy data. It's
right.
got everything in there. And so again, we've got to transmit via a secure portal.
Yep.
And then there are guidance on when we get data from carriers. There are contracts that we sign with them on what we can send out.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll start the conversation, but no
Right.
guarantees on what we can transmit and how.